Do you know what it's like to be on the bill and to play for 15 minutes and the only people there to see you are the other bands and their girlfriends?
From Buffalo, New York, it's the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast.
Welcome to the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast, where we talk about the good, the bad, and the dog parades of the Buffalo music scene. I'm Ryan Gurnett, and no, this isn't a toga party. I just ran out of clean clothes. On episode number 76, wow, of the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast, you'll hear more interviews that Cassidy and I did, talking with students from SUNY Fredonia's Hail Fredonia Records. We're going to be talking with Hail Fredonia A&R reps, Whitney, Dann, and Cameron Bunch, as well as Emily Rasulo, who is running a virtual dog parade with Hail Fredonia. We're going to play a game of Real Not Real with my experiences as a musician in college. We'll also be playing music by Hail bands, the Burkharts, Grosh, and Posted. But first, hold on, Cassidy's not here to do this. Give me a sec. There we go. Two things I want to talk about. Number one, shows are back. I just had my first weekend of shows, and oh my goodness, probably since at least November, and I'm not even going to lie right now. You can probably hear it. I'm exhausted. I had karaoke night on Thursday. I had meetings. I had haircuts on Friday, and then I helped a show at an unnamed dairy beverage name-based venue who isn't supposed to be advertising shows yet for some reason, even though everyone else can seem to do it. And on Friday, and I saw some really cool bands, including Pedestrians, who are like this jam ska band almost. And then I'll talk about them in a minute. But then Saturday, I recorded all day with my band St. John and the Other Monsters. We just put a home recording studio together, which, as anyone knows, that first day you have access to that studio, nothing goes right. Not a damn thing. So I spent the whole day troubleshooting, basically. And then I ended up having to work a show at Witter's. And then I haven't gotten, just for whatever reason, a whole lot of sleep the last 2 nights. And I feel like hell, but the show must go on, and here I am. So that's why Cassidy isn't here for these segments. She'll be on for the interviews. I was supposed to record with her yesterday, but I was so sick I couldn't do that. So I am now doing it by myself. So, hi, it's me. So first, before I'm going to talk about Buffalo Infringement Festival's proposal period being open, but I did want to mention the dairy beverage-based venue in their event on Friday, and it was a really cool show. It was 3 bands that I wasn't super familiar with. The opener was Pedestrians, and now I actually didn't know anything about Pedestrians. One of the other bands recommended them to me, and it was pretty awesome. It's like a ska jam band almost. You got bass, you got a keys player, you got a guy who plays trumpet and bongos, you have a drummer, and then the singer is playing what I believe is a baritone ukulele put into like this huge Marshall amplifier. And it's kind of awesome, to be honest. I wasn't sure what it was going to be going in, and so it has this kind of ska sound to it, but at the same time, it was basically 5 songs over 35 minutes. So they're really long and drawn out, and they were really entertaining. Jammy stuff doesn't usually catch my attention, but I really like these guys. After that was a band called Bread and Circuses from Syracuse. I actually booked them on the show thinking that they lived closer because they were involved in our last Infringement Festival, and they're definitely 90s alt rock influenced. Kind of from when I heard the recordings, it reminded me a lot of Alice in Chains. I think that paints a pretty clear picture, kind of what they'd sound like. And then when I saw them live, you can definitely still hear that influence. They've had these really cool vocal harmonies that definitely make you think of Alice in Chains a little bit. But it almost kind of reminded me of Local H, which is another 90s alt-rock band that you should check out if you haven't heard of. They were kind of one of the ones that faded into the background, but they remind me of that, and they put on a great show, and everyone loved them. And then we had Kingsnake, formerly Earthrider, played, and they were really cool as well. I've heard some of their stuff and thought kind of like metally, Megadeth-y almost, and it was more of a doom metal kind of thing, and it was really fun. I mean, honestly, all three bands were excellent. Like, I didn't really know what to go into the night expecting, and it was a blast. So keep an eye out, or just come down to dairy beverage named venue on a Friday or Saturday night, and there'll be good music there. And there's also karaoke on Thursday, which I did on my first day after my 2 weeks after my second shot of COVID. So hooray. All right. Now what I really wanted to get to is the Buffalo Infringement Festival submission period is now open. What does that mean? It means between now and the end of April 2021, you can apply for Buffalo Infringement Festival at BIF, for Buffalo Infringement Festival, 21.infringebuffalo.org. Now, what can you submit? Anything, any kind of art that you can make is welcome. Whether you're a photographer, a painter, a didgeridoo player, if you want to just dress up as a Smurf and parade around town, whatever kind of art you choose to make with your life can be a part of this festival. And if you jump on there, if you're a band, we accept every band that goes in. Every band gets accepted. Every band's going to play a slot. Fantastic. And I love that we have as much music as we do, but I'd love to see more of the other arts as well, our visual artists, our dance, our theater people, even people who just want to do workshops explaining, honestly, anything. So I think the festival is going to be really great this year, in part because I've been seeing so many other festivals are already gone, and I've actually been kind of surprised. We're going to make our final decision on whether it's going to be in person or digital, like it was last year with digital, on July 1st. But everything I'm seeing is leading me to believe that we're going to be able to do this, and we're going to be able to have a good time. So, so please apply, be a part of everything that's happening. And if you don't do any of that stuff and you still want to be involved, you're like, this sounds really cool, what can I do? Volunteer. There's a ton of really great opportunities that we have to, if you're interested in the music industry at all, or just, want to network with local musicians, get involved with things that are happening. It's a great group of people to be involved in, and I think we have a really good time, and I think this year's festival is going to be really great. So, so check it out. All right. I was going to talk more. I'm fighting to keep my eyes open right now. I'm not even going to lie. The struggle is real, folks. This is unfortunately what fatigue disorder looks like while trying to run shows at the same time. I basically have until Friday to recharge my batteries again so I can deal with Friday. All right. So next up, we're just going to jump straight into the interview with Hail Fredonia A&R reps Whitney, Dann, and Cameron Bunch here on the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast on westernnewyorkmusic.com. And we are now joined by Whitney and Cameron from Hail Fredonia Records. Cameron is the A&R rep for the Burkharts, and Whitney is the A&R rep for Grosh. How's it going, guys?
It's going good. How are you?
It's going great, actually.
Can we ask them the same Hail Fredonia question, please?
Please, go for it.
So my curiosity is, the name Hail Fredonia, is it an acronym for something? Does Hail stand for other things? What does that mean?
I don't think so. But also the name was around longer than we were.
Right.
So Not too
I'm
Yeah.
going right to the top. I'm going right to the source with this question.
Armand, who actually
That's what I
teaches
mean.
the class, he wants to be on the podcast anyway.
I'm asking them.
I think I think if HAIL is an acronym, I think the A stands for Armand. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah, probably.
The students what it stands for, and it stands
that'd be
for
great.
something really shitty.
He's just making up a random acronym and having you work under it. Oh my
That'd
goodness,
be funny.
that'd be amazing.
Did you hear about the band for United Catholic Kids?
Oh, poor kids.
Sorry, it's my acronym joke about bands.
Those fuckers.
That was loud. Oh no.
And then it goes on a little too long.
Yeah, it always does.
So now, when you guys kind of started taking the HAIL Fredonia class, was A&R kind of what you wanted to specialize in, or did you kind of end up there?
Well, the class, like the structure of the class is way different this semester than it has been in the past. Like we didn't work, I don't think the class threw events a lot, but like when I transferred to Fredonia last year, I went to Rock and Bowl, which was the Burkharts and Superficial playing at the bowling alley. And I thought that was pretty cool, but that was like their extent of working with bands. I think just keep putting them on events. So this year it was completely different. I don't think we knew that was going to be an option once the class started. And then the first day, Armin said, everyone pick a band and present them to the class. And then we picked the 5-6 top bands, and me and Whitney both got picked.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting to get picked at all because like I transferred here last year as well, and I didn't know any bands at all in the area whatsoever. So when Armand said to like pick a band, I panicked and had no idea what to do. But then mine got picked, and then I became
you picked like one of the best bands in Buffalo. What do you expect?
I know, I didn't realize that at the time. So
now, so it's a record label. So now, are you guys working with like? I know there's some contracts involved. Now, are you guys working with like recording contracts for like studio time and like how deep are these contracts going? I was just kind of curious about that.
I mean, they're kind of just like in general, we call it like a licensing agreement instead of like contract, because we're more so just like stating that we have permission to use all of this material from the bands, but we don't like take copyright ownership or anything, and we're not like getting paid for this, we're not paying them, so it's kind of just like an agreement that we have.
That's the same agreement I have with podcasts for my website, actually, so I completely understand that. All right, I had someone tell me that there were contracts, so I wasn't sure if there was like a great depth to it or if it was just kind of some more kind of basic, simple kind of stuff, which is kind of what it sounds like you're doing. So
yeah, we just license each song that we would use in on our YouTube channel, we started uploading lyric videos. So we only upload videos with the songs that we have the licenses to use.
Excellent. Now that actually brings up a question I have. So you're uploading music that isn't yours, it's someone else's onto YouTube. Now I'm assuming if their stuff's registered properly, YouTube's going to ding that for a copyright. Now, has that happened yet, where you've had to actually like show that you have the agreement when you're posting these things?
I don't think it's happened yet.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's like on YouTube for that, or if it's like on the band's part.
Okay.
Like I don't really know how all that works, but I don't think we've gotten like hit with a copyright strike yet.
Okay. I was just kind of curious. I wanted to do a video, and it was just going to be puppies playing while Buffalo music played, and I thought it was just a great way to combine two things that people
that
get
you
into.
love.
Yeah. like these cute puppies are great. I don't need all the sound effects. That gets boring after a while.
Sure.
Let's listen to the eaves on top of it.
Except,
but I don't know if I'm going to get dinged for copyrights or monetization or any of that stuff.
Well, the worst thing that would happen is they just tell you to take it down.
Yeah, I know. But then
yeah.
Or sometimes
it's hard work. I mean, I don't want to have my dogs do all that hard work for nothing. I'm sorry, Whitney, you were saying.
No, I was just going to say sometimes like they tell you to just put like credits in the description, and then you can keep it up.
Okay. Well, I've actually had a few where I've had to either I can't monetize, or I've had a couple where the video just isn't workable, and I'm told I either have to mute it or cut the scene out. So that's happened with me with Infringement Festival. Day 2 of Infringement Festival was a day late because of copyright infringement. Yay, dance groups.
You learn. Hope it's been fun.
Yes, you do.
I was just trying to find the video of Rage Against the Machine playing on SNL like 15 minutes before recording this, and I couldn't find anything because I think SNL or the band claimed copyright, so they had to take the video down. And the only one I could find was played at twice the speed. So it's kind of like the Chipmunks covering Rage Against the Machine.
Although now I want to look that up because it'd be funny.
I'm going to go on a tangent.
It's really funny.
Whenever NBC shows the episode of SNL with Elliott Smith on it, they cut out both of his goddamn songs.
Oh, yeah?
And if they do that and pull them off of YouTube, that's such a disservice to a fucking amazing artist.
Right.
So I got so excited when I saw the episode. I'm like, I'm going to watch the old Elliott Smith. And that's like, no, you're not. You're just going to watch a bad sketch at the end. So now off that tangent. Cameron, how'd you find the Burkharts?
I transferred here, like I said, last fall. And my friend James was like, oh, this is a great band. Because I like surf music a lot. So he was like, they're kind of like surfy indie. And I saw him at Mohawk and I saw Trevor. They call it the Burke stack, I guess. And it's when Trevor is like laying on James' back and he's got his feet on Austin's back and he's playing his guitar solo. So that was when I was like, that is what I want to see. They had their sweaters on, and then
I was gonna say the sweaters and the bowling shoes must have been a really great combination.
Oh, it was great. And then we actually played a show with them at a house show in February of last year before everything got taken down. So that's when I kind of got to know the guys better, and just talking to them at the shows. They're nice guys. So after every show, I'd just be like, hey, that was great.
Yeah, they're people might mock like dressing up as a band, but we did a show with them for Infringement Festival at Broadway Market a couple years ago. And every person, because I mean it's a 3-story farmers market basically, and we had music on all 3 floors. So most of the stores are on the first floor, so they were down there getting food and stuff before they went on, just checking stuff out. Everyone asked me, when is the band with the sweaters playing? I want to see the band with the sweaters. Like, it's eye-catching. And what they did, that show that was amazing, was I put a live-action role-playing group on the roof because Infringement Festival. So at one point, I think it was Austin, calls me up, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then he goes, can you have them fight us? And I don't know what everyone in the crowd sees, but it's just me walking up to Austin and then me just doing a beeline for the live action role playing group. And I'm like, guys, can you fight them? And they're like, well, we don't really have a rapport with them. And I'm like, they asked you to fight them. You can fight them. And they're like, well, I don't know. I mean, we don't want to hurt them. I'm like, guys, they're asking you to fight them. They know it's happening. You're not going to hurt them. This is cool. And then when I finally talked them into it, they start approaching. And what I didn't realize was the one extension cord that was powering the stage came unplugged. So the band is actually like doing like, I think they were playing like leapfrog in front of the stage while they waited for someone who I think was supposed to be me to fix it. And then the live action role playing group completely snuck up on them by surprise. And it was that's still one of my favorite infringement memories. I love talking about that. And those guys are such good sports with everything they do with their image. And I think it's going to take them far, as well as the fact that they'd make awesome music.
They're talented. Yeah,
they're really talented guys. They've always been like real nice and easy to work with. I got to book another show with them. I got to talk to them. Let's get Trevor on the phone.
Yeah,
Tsunami Surprise.
We'll get him on the horn.
Yeah. We'll do Tsunami Surprise, which is Cameron's band. We'll mention that on air. And and the Burkharts.
Sounds good. I'm there.
I'm there. Well, I work there, so I can't.
I'd be there.
So what's kind of like the daily work for an A&R person for Hail Fredonia Records? Like throughout the semester, what is kind of your work going to entail, or what have you already done?
Whitney, you want to take this one?
Sure. I must say that I don't really know like traditionally what an A&R person would do. I looked up a lot of articles when I first started doing this with Grosh, but for me, I just I try and like plan everything out like ahead of time. And so I always talk to the band like at the beginning of the semester, and we kind of talk about like things that we could do throughout the semester. And then like every week I'll go through like what we had talked about and kind of pick some things and be like, okay, team, like this is what we're going to work on this week and we need it done by next week. And then like, that's just kind of what I do. It's just like week by week.
So what kind of things are you having the band do? Or I mean, even better, have you had anything that you've kind of brought to the table for Grosh where they were like, well, that's awesome, we have to do that? Have there been any of those kind of situations?
Last semester there was a couple of those situations because we were more working on like promoting them and just getting a lot of promotional material ready. We were trying to get more interaction with like their fans on Instagram and Facebook. So we kind of gave them some like media ideas of like questions they could ask for like interaction or like various things they could do with their music. This semester it's more of like trying to promote their new album coming out. So we're not really giving them ideas this semester. But like last semester it was like flipped. So
it's got to be a little tough too. I know they're taking a break while Megan has I think throat surgery or something like that, right?
I'm not sure.
I just have
tell me she has
taking a little bit of time
on.
off, I know.
Well, I think a lot of their promo material and everything looks really polished.
Oh my goodness.
I've watched them grow as far as the packaging of what is already a very talented group. And, it just, their photos and videos look really well done. And I think that that's a testament to, obviously, even working with you guys, that I'm seeing these things on social media and I'm seeing their presence more prevalent.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing stuff more prevalent now that you mention it.
And it looks good. And it's great for Buffalo, too, like for the local music scene to see an act like that that's got some chops.
Yeah, they're to me, they're like a superstar act as far as like local bands are concerned. They're the cream of the crop.
When Megan's like covering a Zeppelin song or whatever, and you're like, okay, all right, little lady.
It's like, okay, I'm bad at this. You just keep going, right?
Sure. No, good stuff. What's exciting for you guys? I know that it's a very strange climate for music, both in the are we going to have live music or how are we going to get things out on the interwebs sense? What are you guys looking forward to? Projects as we're getting into our what should be concert season.
I think it's interesting to be like right in the middle of like the last semester started and we're trying to come up with ideas of how to keep, I don't know how to phrase it. Just, live music's gone. Like we're trying to fill that gap any way we can. And especially for the Burkharts, it's tough because their whole thing is their live presence and like seeing them, like you said, like wearing sweaters, playing leapfrog in front of the stage, like doing stuff like that. So it's really tough to try to convey that. So like the biggest thing I've been trying to work with them on is getting like live performance videos. They did like, there's 37 Maple or the North Pole Strip Club is the house venue in Fredonia.
Oh yeah.
And they just started they put up the first one today. They're doing a series of live shows in the basement. They've got like camera, audio, really good quality. And they just put up the first video on YouTube today. So the Burkharts did one of those. So I'm excited for that to come out. There was some pretty fun stuff they did with some oranges and a piñata and
we're looking up for you guys as soon as our conversation ends.
Oranges and piñata. I can't wait.
Yeah, so I think it's interesting to try to work with music, and we've been working a while with submitting to radio, which hasn't really been going well. No one answers. No one wants to put your band on the radio.
Right.
Yeah, I was just bitching about radio a couple episodes ago about their inability to play local music. So
yeah, it's all about Spotify and playlists now. Like that was the one thing that helped the Burkharts get a lot of attention is they submitted themselves to a lot of playlists and ended up getting on like 20 or so, which helped a lot when their EP came out. But radio hasn't been going too hot.
It's worth noting, too, for Spotify, if you want to help your friends' bands get noticed, putting them, like I make a lot of local music playlists, and that helps circulate them locally. But it's when you put local artists with national artists and international artists that sometimes it kind of helps with the algorithm and kind of brings up their visibility a little bit. So I was
I miss Pandora and the Music Genome project and the idea that you could algorithm somebody's mood into the music they need to hear at that moment,
There was actually a Yahoo streaming thing a while back where it was like gave you like you could really very very specifically like rate your music, like the album, the artist, the song in particular. And I miss that. I don't know why I mentioned that. That's what I was doing when she was doing Pandora. Back when you were in college, high school.
Oh, Pandora was cool then, old. Yeah.
All right. We got a couple minutes left. What do you guys think's the most important thing you've learned in general but from Hail Fredonia Records?
Great question. I definitely think like I know like deadlines were a thing way before, but like I've always kind of been the person to be like, yeah, I'll just do that like tomorrow. Oh yeah, I'll get to that like later. Oh yeah, I'll do it then. But I really learned that if I just sit down and like really focus in on something, I can just like get it done real quick. And so I've gotten a lot better at like setting deadlines for myself and when things need to be done.
Absolutely.
So that's probably what I'd say.
I'm still working on that. I still put everything off to the last minute. I have so much homework that I was supposed to do today. It's 5 o'clock. I haven't done anything. I forgot about this. I was at Arkwright Falls, like 15 minutes down the road from my house, and then I saw the Facebook message, and they're like, "Hey guys, here's the Zoom meeting." So here we go.
We're 4 for 4 with college students.
He's here.
I'm impressed.
Made it. Yes.
Definitely. But as far as things I've learned, I think relying on other people to get your stuff done is not a good way to go. And it's not that like anyone's like screwing me over or anything, but you know, like people are busy. Everyone's got their own things going on. Sometimes I don't get a word from the band for like 3 days because there's like work and there's COVID stuff and, you know, just trying to like stay like, you know, healthy and happy and all that. So it's like, if I can't get anything done until he gets back to me, I have to find a way to like get it done myself. So I think that's something I've been learning, just to not necessarily like rely on someone else to get my own things done.
I like it. I do always, and I'll even mention it now, and I want them to sponsor us eventually because I mention them a lot. Todoist.com is a great way to, if you ever looking to organize yourself and set deadlines and things. That's what I use to get myself organized, and it's made a world of difference.
It's where your brain is. So
oh, yeah. If you ask me what I'm doing tomorrow, I have no idea. Todoist knows, though. Todoist knows exactly what's going on tomorrow. I let future Ryan worry about that shit.
Well, it's almost like as an A&R person, you're doing that kind of thing for your band. Like you are the brain and the strategist of how to connect these different pieces of the puzzle for your creative, you know, branch. And so it's definitely a necessary function. And I think that your experience being able to do this in school and being able to connect with such really talented, you know, right in the thick of the scene, growing artists is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
All right. So we're going to take a quick break and then we're going to come back and play a game. Awesome. Do you remember which Grosh song we played on the last episode? I don't remember which one I introduced.
We played I Bet You Did.
All right. Well, we're going to play a different song then. This is Karma from Grosh. And we'll be right back here on the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast on WesternNewYorkMusic.com. And we are back here on the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast. That was Karma by the mighty Grosh. And now we're going to play a game. This is a game of Real Not Real. These are all stories, things that did or did not happen to me while I was making music in college. So I'm going to give you a statement and you have to tell me if it's real or not. So we're going to have you two competing against each other. So who wants to go first?
Cameron would love to go first.
Cameron would love to go first.
All right. Cameron, question number 1. My band rented a practice space in the shady part of Albany. One night, the cops chased a couple of prostitutes from the brothel next door into the building where the practice spaces were. The building was shut down for numerous safety and health code violations, and about 20-ish Albany bands couldn't get to their gear for a weekend. Is that real or not real?
I'm going to say real.
That is real.
Ooh, off to a good start.
All right, Whitney. Ryan entered and then won an apple pie eating contest while on tour in Clarksburg, West Virginia.
Oh,
real or not real?
not real, I guess.
Not real.
Ooh.
Correct. I hate apple pie.
Oh, you can't hate apple pie.
I hate apple pie. I just said it.
Maybe you'd like jail apple pie.
I might like jail apple pie.
I just got jail apple pie today. Sorry.
Cassidy just learned about how they make apple pie in jail, and I kind of like it better than the regular apple pie.
I'm still learning things, kids.
We should make a YouTube video. I think this would be a good Struggle is Real YouTube video. Me and you making apple pie.
It could be a struggle.
I like it.
I still want to go making jail cheesecake. That looked really interesting.
There you go. Oh, what if we make the Jail Cheesecake Factory? It'll be our own restaurant.
Oh my God.
Okay. Okay, Cameron, your second question. When Ryan's band gets to their first gig in Detroit, the promoter tells the band that they don't get to play if they don't pony up $100 for the show. Some guns, followed by the police, made an appearance, and long story short, it ended with the police saying, "You should probably get out of Detroit, like right now." Real or not real?
Real.
That is not real.
No.
I have never been to Detroit.
Oh, really?
All right, Whitney, this is your chance to take the lead. In an act of road rage, an underslept Ryan rides the bumper of someone in a junky white pickup truck and gives them the middle finger when they pass. 20 minutes later, the band arrives at the venue, and we find out that that was the sound guy. Real or not real?
Real.
That is not real.
Oh.
I did have a weird situation on my way to a Sonic Youth concert where there was a guy filling gas who looked like homeless Santa Claus, only to find out he was the opening act.
Oh my gosh.
It was terrible.
Were they terrible?
Yeah.
Okay. Should have known.
Yes. All right, Cameron. After not meeting any women while on tour, Ryan finally gets a phone number. It's from an underage girl in New Jersey who wadded it up on a piece of paper and threw it at the back of his head. Real or not real?
Real.
That is real. Oh, New Jersey.
Cameron's in the lead.
Only place that can happen. All right, Whitney. The singer from Ryan's college punk band stole beef jerky from every rest stop on tour. In an odd turn of fate, he is now launching a campaign to be sheriff of Buffalo.
Real.
That is real. That is horrifically real.
I feel like I saw something on Facebook about that.
I was in an anarchist punk band, and the singer, his name is Steve Fulano, is now trying to run as a Republican. I think his biggest campaign thing is that people with mental problems should have guns. It's so fucking weird. But yeah, manage beef jerky every place we stopped on tour. It was delicious, and I didn't even have to steal anything.
Yeah. You're just along for the ride.
You knew about it.
I'm a good accomplice. All right, Cameron. My band drove 18 hours from Independence, Ohio to New York City to play a sold-out show on New Year's Eve. But the promoter didn't sell any tickets and didn't even show up to the performance.
Not real.
That is real.
Oh, that's horrible.
Sucked. We still played our set to no one. No one at like 9 p.m. on New Year's Eve in New York City. I got drunk on tequila and slept through New Year's as we just got the hell out of there.
That is sad.
It was. All right. Whitney, it's your chance to take the lead. Ryan once performed a one-off show as a part of a band called the Serial Killers. The group was inspired by guar and green jello, where everyone dressed as cereal mascots. I was Captain Crunch.
Real?
That is fake.
I was going to say, if that was real, that's insane.
I'd do that if given the opportunity, but I haven't yet.
He's ready for it.
I'm ready.
Proposal.
Oh, I like that. I'll talk to the Wyatt Coyne guys and Green Jello about getting some outfits. Yeah. All right, Cameron, this is your last one. You two are tied going into your final question. The band's gig for the night gets canceled, so the band ends up traveling to the next town they're playing to crash with the band. Once the band gets into the house of this band, they are greeted by a 250-ish pound Southern woman with an oversized red T-shirt that says, "I've got the crabs."
Real.
That is real. Real and weird.
Real weird.
The one guy definitely had a giant Confederate flag on his wall. I slept in the van, so I got up early and I was like just going through the house because what do you do when I didn't have anything, so like I definitely found like Women of the NRA on VHS with like a woman with like the loincloth and the crossbow, and it was like, Jesus Christ. I wanted to steal it, and I feel like that would have been okay.
This could end in a tie right now?
This could end in a tie.
I am rooting for Whitney to tie it up.
All right, Whitney.
Thank you.
I once planned a festival, and I called it after myself, Gurnett Festock. It involved handing out paper Ryan Gurnett masks, a Ryan Gurnett that was made out of stuffed clothing that would sit in the middle of the stage at all times, and other Ryan celebration materials. Real or not real?
I'm going to say not real.
We have a tie!
Yay! What do they win?
I got to figure out. So, actual true story. There was no Gurnett Fest sock, but there was one we named after our friend Mike because we liked saying his last name, which was LaBarge. So we actually had LaBarge Fest stock.
Nice. I like the Fest stock. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we all had paper masks of him, and there was a stuffed effigy of him on the stage.
I would like to go to a Christina Stock Fest stock.
Oh, I want to go to Stock Fest stock. That's fantastic. All right, prizes. Oh, I've got I have digital codes for some free albums. What kind of music are you guys into? Cameron, go first.
A lot, pretty much most things besides country. I mainly listen to like rock and like I love new wave and surf and punk and classic rock.
Cool. Well, I'm going to give you a digital copy of Sonic Youth's Murray Street, which in my opinion is the best Sonic Youth album ever released.
I'll have to take your word for it.
Absolutely. So remind me and I'll scan this for you and send it over to you. And Whitney,
awesome.
what kind of music do you like?
Kind of the same answer as Cam. Anything that's probably not country. Mostly like pop rock. And
perfect. I got it.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a digital copy of Ben Lee, his album Awake is the New Sleep. You've probably never heard of Ben Lee because he hasn't done anything cool since this album came out 15 years ago. But this album, top to bottom, is really, 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 really awesome. Oh, there's one 9-minute track in the middle of a pop record where they just jam for a while for no reason. That song sucks. Every other track.
Okay.
So cool. So yeah, I'll send those to you guys afterwards. And
awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for playing.
So
thanks for having us.
Cool. So Whitney, I'll see you in the summer, and Cameron, we'll see you with Tsunami Surprise some point in the near future.
Sure hope so. All
right, we're gonna play them off with some Burkharts. We are gonna play In My Worried Mind.
Nice.
Do you have a good intro for this song? Like a radio intro you want to do? A&R guy.
I couldn't remember it. I'd have to go to my Google Docs. So no.
I thought putting him on the spot. Little pop quiz. All right, so we're going to play In My Worried Mind by the Burkharts here on the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast on westernnewyorkmusic.com.
Baby, it's easy to see, taking my time. Oh, I know it to be true. In my worried mind. I don't know. Raise these eyes, remember when it felt alright. If it's on, I don't in my worried mind, I know it to be true. In my worried mind, I know it to be true. In my worried mind, I know it to be true.
And we are now joined by Emily Rasulo, our final interview from Hail Fredonia. How's it going, Emily?
Hi, Ryan. It's going good.
Cool. So now we've talked to some social media coordinators. We've talked to some A&R people. You are now, is it for the class that you're in charge of the dog walk?
Yeah. So I did a little bit of like A&R last semester.
Okay.
But it was just like not my area of like interest. So I knew that Petrie was looking to still do a dog walk and keep that connection with the charities. So I had mentioned to him that like I am interested in event coordinating and I do it for a music industry club, and then I'll be helping out with it for my internship. And so I kind of took this position for this semester.
Sure.
And I have some help from some of the other people in the class as well. So.
All right, help this make sense for me. I understand Hail Fredonia's history of organizing these events and having these charities tied together with live music and you know, bringing the bands and setting up the events. But the dog walk particularly, being that it's virtual, how are you having music correlated? How does it relate to Hail Fredonia?
So the dog walk was actually like an event like started by the students in the class, because I think like the whole class is like centered around like event coordinating, and like this semester like everything was different because we couldn't have events. So what we did instead was that we like worked with local bands and like promoted them, and that's why we have like the A&R reps who kind of did that. So this semester, like with the dog walk, like I wanted to like include all of the bands that we work with, like to be on the stream and to like help us promote the cause, just to like kind of tie in everything that we're doing. Cause like half the class is still like very much working on that. Like Whitney and Cam probably told you about.
Yeah.
So I kind of like, I wanted to include them in the stream to just like make everything that we're doing like a little more cohesive, I guess. But yeah, the event has like been in the class because like the students came up with it. So that's why we stick with it.
I wish at some point during my college career, I could walk into a class and they're like, well, what area do you want to take? And I said, dog parade.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Yeah, this is what you get.
Yeah, like normally we do like a ton of events. Like there's like the Mardi Gras one. Like in the fall, there's like a Halloween event. Like normally it's just like you're working on one event and then when it's over, you go to the next one.
Sure.
With the dog walk being like the main event of the year. But like obviously we couldn't really do that. And Petrie like knew that wasn't really an option for the class, which is why he took the new direction with working with the local bands and like letting us work as like an actual record label.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, which foundation are you raising money for with the dog walk?
It is the Institute for Autism Research at Canisius College. So like I think all the money that we raise does go to like families with children that have autism.
It's longer than you want it to be. Right?
It is longer than you want it to be. And you cut her off a little bit, but that's
I'm
okay.
very sorry.
No, that's wonderful. I love things that support any of that stuff. So if people are listening to the podcast, this episode will be up on April 15th. Where can they find information about the dog walk so they can tune in?
We're going to be making a Facebook event. So there's a Hail Fredonia Facebook page, and I think they'll be starting like the event page. So we'll be posting all the information there, as well as like a donation site. So there's like a site on the research organization's actual site where you can donate directly to them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do it through Hail Fredonia. Let them know where the money's coming from.
Sure.
Absolutely.
So how many people has the dog walk gotten in the past when it's been like real?
So I actually so we didn't have one last year because of it would have happened like in April.
Yeah.
And then there was one, it would have been my freshman year, and like I didn't actually go because the weather was like so bad. Like I remember it was like pouring, and my friends were doing like they were in charge of it that year, so I was like,
How's
oh,
dog walk?
It doesn't sound.
Are you doing your dog parade on Indian burial grounds?
no.
Is it okay to ask that question anymore?
You're not allowed to.
Okay, I'm sorry. Never mind.
It's not PC.
So I haven't like attended in the past. From what I've heard, it's been like 100-ish people. Like I know that they raised like a couple $1,000s. So yeah, it's been successful in the past, which is why we like stick with it.
Absolutely.
I like the idea of the taking your local bands that you're supporting and tying it to not only a great charity, but the getting everybody virtually at least on the same walk, you know?
Right.
So you get pledges. How would you sign up if you want to participate?
So we're gonna have, so it's a live stream essentially. So it's gonna be like a 6-hour live stream where we're gonna have like the bands are submitting content for that, and then we're also just like as a class we're making up like goofy material to put in. Like we have like a whole list of like silly things we're gonna be doing. And then we're also going to include the dogs. Like if you want to feature your dog like on the stream, it's going to be like a $5 donation, and then that's all going to be donated. So we'll have all the information for that on the social media sites on where you can like enter that.
Are you entering your dogs, Ryan?
I might.
I think you have to now, right?
Yeah. Rocket and Astro are about to become stars.
Oh my
They're
God.
getting part of the thing.
So you said A&R wasn't really your thing. So you're more of like a festival event coordinating. Is that what you're looking to do when you graduate?
I'm actually looking to like go to law school.
Sure.
But like right now, like that's like what I really like doing because I do it with Music Industry Club and
Some like music law.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. That's where the money is.
Intellectual property. Yes.
Yeah.
But I do love I love event coordinating. Like it's probably like my favorite part of like what I do here. And like with Music Industry Club, like normally I'd be doing events like every month, but we haven't been able to do any. So I kind of like naturally wanted to pick that up with the class.
Sure.
Option.
What are some of your favorite events that you've been a part of coordinating so far there?
So my favorite one that we've done in the past, and it's usually like one that we do like a couple per semester, is we do a DJ night at SUNY's in Fredonia. And it's like a lot of fun because first of all, we raise a lot of money for the club that way because everyone's going to the bar and like they don't realize that they have to pay a cover. So everyone lines up and they're like, why do I have to pay $2? And we're like, it's a club event. So we make a ton of money, and then it's also just like you just dance all night and it's really fun. And then I also really like Solstice Jam, which is like our spring semester festival that like we just have like a bunch of bands come in. Like normally we have like a few local and then a few from out of town. And then we also have like student artists come in and they sell their art, and a bunch of other like artistic clubs on campus come in and contribute. So I really like that one. I've worked on that one in the past. And then this semester we're doing like a virtual concept as well. So I've been working on that aside from the dog walk.
Now, I mean, when eventually COVID will be over and we'll be doing things outside and inside again.
Fingers crossed.
If bands were interested in getting kind of involved in some of the events you guys are doing, whether it's being considered for the Hale class or any of the festivals and shows and fundraisers you guys are doing, is there a particular person or people that they would want to reach out to over at Hale that might be the kind of the best people for that?
Well, I'm only a junior, so I'll be around next year. So they could reach out to me. And I think like Cameron will be around as well.
Sure.
We're not going to be like in the class because it's only a year long, but like we'll know people in the class.
Sure.
Yeah, because people take it different years. So,
okay.
And then as well as like we have a bunch of, we're all like really connected here. So like people that are involved in Hale are also involved in like the BJ shows, who are also involved in Music Industry Club. Like we're all kind of interconnected. So once we hear about one band, like we kind of just like spread the word. Everybody.
How many music industry students are there currently enrolled at Fredonia? Do you have any idea? Is
That's
that a guesstimate?
Great question.
Ooh, I really don't know.
Huh.
Yeah.
See, I've got all these canned questions when we do.
Yeah. Like, I know
Yes.
in the Hale class, there's like at least 30 of us. So.
Because I find it neat because, like, I went to my school was tiny. When my class in particular, we had 11 kids in the music industry. When I was a freshman, our graduating class was 2 in that major. So, like, I knew everyone in my major.
Sure.
But it's so weird now when I talk just like for some of the Fredonia students. I'm like, oh, do you know this person? Like, I don't know who you're talking about.
No, that's really funny because I thought it was small because when I first got here, like, my circle of music industry friends was like, I knew everybody. But then once I got in my classes, like, I was like, I don't even know half these people.
Exactly.
Like, it still happens where I take another class and, like, I have no idea who these people are. Like, there's much more people than what I would have thought. So
Awesome. It's good to see that. I mean, it's a thriving program there.
These
It's really good to see.
conversations with the Hale Fredonia folks really gets me thinking about the lovely connections I made in the SUNY Oneonta music industry program. It's a wonder how then years later you tap back into these relationships and it's like, wow, in my arsenal and catalog of friends, who would be great to ask about playing this show, or who would be the right person to contact if I want to do X, Y, and if I'm thinking of a city, then it grows exponentially where it's like, oh my God, who do I know who lives? And there's someone everywhere.
Yeah, no, even
great.
even for me when it comes to booking, it's like, well, I know someone here and here and here.
And how many times you have to pick someone's brain to say which venue would be the right fit for in your city, you know? Or you can take the Buffalo or then Fredonia reference and be like, where is Sonny's in Charlotte? You know?
Yeah.
It's great.
Nice. So we only got about a minute or two left. What do you think the most important thing you think you've learned in the class since you've been part of Hale Fredonia?
We learned quite a bit of things. I think the most important thing is like you said, like networking, like knowing your peers, like being able to work with them and like create a relationship. I think that's probably one of the most important parts because like everybody in the class like has different assets that they can offer. So just being able to work with those people and like keep those connections is probably the most important because Petrie tells us all the time, like he knows all these people and that's what's helped him get this far and continue to, you know, be successful in the industry. So I think that's probably the most important.
Yeah. No one ever does it alone.
Nope.
It's important to remember. Some people want to treat it like it's a competition, but it's not.
Yeah,
we're all trying to fix this together. We're all trying to get people out together. So yeah. Well, Emily, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
We will have we'll have links along with the episode that to get people to anywhere they want to be involved in the dog parade. Do you have a date for it?
It is April 25th.
April 25th. All right. Cool. Well, thanks again. And we'll be right back here on The Struggle is Real, Buffalo Music Podcast on WesternNewYorkMusic.com.
And next on the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast, we're going to play Love by Posted. And we'll be right back.
We all are young, trying to find ourselves. What to say with our tongue. One book upon many shelves. Oh, the choices we face. However reckless and dumb, those who care must embrace the person that we become. right now. Well, if they all decide to leave, then further deeper we fall. So why can't they see this is my life, or what this does to me?
And that is it for episode 76 of the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast. On our next episode, we're going to keep our SUNY Fredonia theme going. We're going to have music industry teacher, Hail Fredonia Records person who runs it, Armand Petrie. And Armand he's way more than that. Armand worked on a whole bunch of old Goo Goo Dolls records. He's on my favorite one, Superstar Car Wash, which when I saw that, I'm like, I got to get this guy in here. If you listen to our 10,000 Maniacs episode, they sing his praises as well. He's also worked with Sixpence None the Richer. He's had a very rich and successful career in the music industry. So I think it'll be, I've talked to him a little bit when I did one of the things with the Hail Fredonia class, and he seems like a real interesting guy, so I think we're going to have a good time with him. So that'll be our May 1st episode. And yeah, so thanks for hanging out, and I'm sorry if I'm a little low energy. I have such a headache. But thanks for joining us here at the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast. Just remember, we're getting out, we're starting to do shows again, but please be respectful of other people, be safe. And this isn't over quite yet, so I feel like we've been inside for too long to fuck it up at the end. So let's all try and be as safe as we can, and then hopefully by summer everything's just gonna feel like normal again. So we hope you like the episode, and yeah, thanks for joining us. Keep on struggling, and we'll see you next time.